Hey everybody, it's tequila time, and I'm recording this on Long Island Lou's birthday, so happy birthday, Lou. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. And the reason I haven't done it is I haven't had access to everything I wanted to do this video. Recently, I was able to acquire some bottles. We'll just start. The basis of this video is the relationship between Widoe Jane and Tequila Ocho. Starting out with their barrel-aged tequilas. This one being the reposado, and this one being the anejo. And how Widoe Jane Bourbon has influenced barrels has influenced these tequilas. And in my opinion only, they've done a really good job at it. I've had this open bottle, and I have a full bottle up on top. Will probably be my fourth. I've been able to find this fairly. It used to be pretty easy. Now it's not quite so easy. But I acquired another bottle. But the bottle I've been chasing, of course, is the anejo. And I was just recently able to acquire that. It came into my possession on a Friday, like a couple days ago. And went down, and my brother-in-law had not had it. My sister had not had it. And so we were able to compare these two together, the reposado and the anejo. But we had a little surprise along the way. And this is the thing that ties this all together. This is Widoe Jane influenced by Tequila Ocho. So, we're going to try all three. Talk about it. See how the barrel influence from the whiskey, from the bourbon, definitely influences the finish on these tequilas. Doesn't mask it up. It just adds to it. So, this is me already drinking some of this, but we're going to pour these out. Pour some out, and we're going to sample them bit by bit. These were done. Now I'm going to have to go back. I got to put my eyeballs on and might have turned the light on. I thought these were done. Yeah, 2022. Just double check. Yeah. These, the Tequila Ochos, the rest of the wooden barrels were done in 2022. And I don't know if there's an age on the date on this one. It's not been that long ago they did these. No. I do not have it. But this, I don't think this was released that long ago. There wasn't a whole lot of it, so I was able to get my hands on some bottles. And if you come to the Kansas City Tequila Hunters bottle share on Thursday, you can try something. And Will's got some at the bar, so I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring a couple of the Volans that I just recently got. And I have a Booker's that was finished in El Tesoro barrels. I'll bring it so you can, if you want to burn your lips off, you can try that one. It's like 123 proof. It's crazy. So let's get back to, so the reposado, it's at, 91 proof, 45.5. And pour a little bit of this. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of the anejo. One, so we can look at them side by side in the glass. And I can compare nosing them side by side. And then while we're at it, we're going to pour a little whiskey. In this case, bourbon. That kind of finishes off like a tequila. So the Widoe Jane bourbon is only 91 proof. Um, where the anejo is 48%. That's, come on, 96 proof. So we're getting close to 100 on that one. All right. See this little look in the glass. So this is the repo, and a typical Ocho. It's light in color. This is actually this is actually, if you could put this up against a regular Ocho repo, this is way darker. This is about the color of maybe the cast strength. So nice, fairly light in color. It's got a nice little cling to the glass. So you get a face. Yeah, there's the tears running down legs. Okay, and then we go to the anejo. So we get a very dark, nice, darker color. I'm going to put these up side by side, so hopefully I can do this. Bottom of the camera, top of the camera. So you can see the difference between the two. Oop, not so much there. But this down here, this one here that I'm no. Okay, there we go. That's the anejo. We'll put it closer to the camera. That's the anejo. That's the repo. Big difference. This one looks like water now. This looks like a repo. So anyway, they never really give an age state. Maybe, if it did to be reposado, it has to be less than a year. And then an añejo is a year to 3. So we're in that. And I'm going to say probably, Carlos probably did it in their usual. But since these are rested only in Widoe Jane barrels, their barrel influence is going to be different if they had a mix of barrels and then blended them together to make a traditional. So these is kind of like a single barrel, but it's not a single barrel. It's a single barrel offering. It's a barrel from a single a single brand, and bottled that way. It's not blended with. It's not bottled with. Oh, come on, Jim Beam, Heaven Hill. It's not. It's just Widoe Jane. And then Widoe Jane, which would not surprise me, because this seems to be a repeating theme a little bit, that barrels that were used for aging a tequila, just the single barrel, was then returned, filled, and used to finish a bourbon that originally carried that whiskey in it. Okay, that's the thing with the El Tesoro 85th anniversary. That had Booker's barrels. The barrels, they had Booker's bourbon in it. Then it had El Tesoro extra añejo in it. And then when they emptied those, they sent them back to Booker's, and then they used it to finish a Booker's version, which I have that. And I do. Yeah, no, there's not enough up there to share. I do have some 85th anniversary up there. It's just that much. I'm going to savor that for a while. That was a birthday gift. So, but anyway, then we go to now we go to the bourbon, and the bourbon has that very dark caramel color into it. I mean, it's 10 years old, folks. That's way older than most tequilas. So let's start with the repo. First thing we do is we're going to swish around some water here, or something to drink. Moisten up the lips. Num num num. Sparkly water, especially when it's from Jarritos. Okay. Wow. Reposado. So I'm getting your usual. We get cooked agave, some ripe fruit. I want to say minerality, but I can't. The minerality. There's a little brininess. And it's very pleasant to the nose. Very, very pleasant to the nose. Let's give it a little sip. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna let this work its way through. Right off the bat, you get barrel notes from the Widoe Jane. Overpowering? No, but they're there. So I want my mouth to kind of get ready for a second sip. Second sip is really where some of the tequila is going to really come shining through. Because if it's a very prevalent note, the barrel influence for this, it's going to take a little bit for that tequila to come through. I'm expecting to find what I found on the nose, a cooked agave smell, a cooked agave flavor, with a little more bourbon influences. Baking spices, maybe a little cinnamon, caramel. And in this case, I'm expecting more caramel, which I should be because when I've tried it before. And I'm going to, I'll just, as we go through this live, but just not live, I didn't pregame for this. No, this is starting right now. Okay. Second sip, right on front of the palate, cooked agave, your ripe fruits. Working back, you get a little pepper. You get some of that caramel, a little, and I'm not going to call it cinnamon because it's not. It's I'm just going to say baking spices that really just kind of coat the back of the palate. You have a little heat, a little warmth that comes down to the back of the throat. Delicious. If you don't want a heavy barrel influence, do not pick these tequilas. If you want more barrel influence than what you would get from something that's aged way longer, this is a great one to start. Your only problem? Finding them. I know there's been rumors floating around that they're wanting to go back and do some more things with Widoe Jane. They did Old Fitz with Ocho. That was good. I'm not throwing that into here because that's a different flavor profile for the bourbon. Old Fitz is a wheated bourbon versus this Widoe Jane, which is not. So that's why I didn't include that into this. But then again, of course, Ocho, El Tesoro, we have that family connection. They've done some stuff with Booker's. I think there's some other things that are coming down the line with them. So that I've been hinted around about, looking for some of those to come. They're not in any big hurry. Of course, neither is my pocketbook. Oh my God. Jeez, I spent so much money this past month. I'm not missing the house payment. I'm not missing, but it's just like, too many deals came up I couldn't pass up. Can't help it. So the anejo. Wow. This is more ripe fruit. Maybe a tad bit floral. Cooked agave is right there, though, on the nose. Let's give her a taste. Mm. Mm. That is so much different. Good different. So, that extra aging, that extra year or two that it's in the barrel, I'm going to say a year, doubles the color and doubles the flavor profile. Cooked agave, ripe fruit. I'm going to put mango in there because and I mean ripe mango. It's super sweet, maybe a melon. Then there's a little bit of a floral bit to it. The bourbon barrel influence is there, but it takes a little bit of a backseat in the añejo, to me. It's just as prevalent as it is in the reposado, but because of everything else happening with the tequila, it takes a back seat. And sorry, And I'm a repo guy, and I love this repo. Do not get me wrong. Why else would I have gone through 4 bottles already? I know I've gone through at least 4. I can't keep track of what I bought and what I drink sometimes, especially when it comes to things I really like. Because when I find them for a good price and I buy a bunch of them, then I quit keeping track. Because I bought one, and then my brother-in-law bought one, and then I bought 3 more, and then I bought another one. So maybe I haven't drank 4. But I've gone, I've owned at least 4 bottles. Yeah, I've drank 2. I've got 2. We'll just leave it at that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm telling you. So anyway, wow. Anejo. I had a friend of mine said, yeah, dude, he liked the anejo better. That's one where he sold. I think he sold one of his repo bottles to my brother-in-law Brad. So, hey, Daddy, this is what's happening here. Okay, so we've done the repo, we've done the anejo. Now we want to see, well, how did this tequila influence this little glass of bourbon? Well, there's one way we'll find out, and that's to give it a try. Whoa. That not tequila. Wow. I gotta shift gears in my brain. Wow, that is a very... I'm not going to say it's any more complex. It's just more in your face. Probably because we're talking whiskey, not tequila. That corn makes a big, big difference. I'm getting candied caramel. Getting candied caramel, and I can't put my finger on whether I want to call it a strawberry or a cherry, and I mean a sweet cherry. I'm going to stick with cherry. But on the back end of this, on the aroma, is our tequila ripe fruit. That's what's kind of throwing me off a little bit on the aroma. There's that overwhelming whiskey. You're gonna get that sweet corn kind of, and that caramel from the 10-year-old, from the wood from the 10-year-old bourbon. I'm not getting any nose of chocolate or anything more than that. Let's give it a quick little taste. Okay. That's definitely cherry. Lots of caramel, maybe a little butterscotch. So, something in that. There's a dusty chocolate in there. First sip with that. That was really good. And at 91 proof, it shouldn't give you the big Kentucky hug. Especially if you're just sipping it. And if you had something to drink before that. I mean, this is almost on the lowest end of everything we've drank so far. The tequila's higher proof. So, yeah, see, I get that cherry note. This time it was like a medicinal cherry, which I don't like cherry crust syrup. But it's just a little twang that kicks in on the back end of that takes it out of that realm. Yeah, I'm sitting there waiting for it. So I get the caramel, I get the cherry, I get a dusty chocolate, and then I get that ripe fruit. There's a little drying period between the end of the chocolate, it's like I don't want to say cocoa powder, but you know what I'm meaning. It's that dry, dark chocolate. Just for a brief second, there's a drying period, and then the tequila fruits kind of kick in. Um, the fruitiness from like an anejo tequila. Um, that really finished this bourbon off really nice. I wanted to talk about how these influence each other. The barrel, how long that whiskey's been in that barrel and how it influences the tequila. It is a major thing along the way, starting with the reposado. It may be light in color, but in flavor and aroma, that barrel influence kind of brings itself to a head. And for somebody who's either transitioning or likes both, these bottles are what they're going to want to look for. Because specifically Widoe Jane, and specifically that's 10-year-old bourbon. That's been sitting in there for a while. It's really done something to that barrel. And that then in turn has done something to the tequila. Because we know what Ocho tequila is like. This has softened it as a repo and especially as an añejo to the point where it doesn't compare, to their conventional repo and añejos. Those are delicious and they're very good. This has more of that bourbon influence to it, just enough to set it aside from everything else. Was it well worth the money for this little flight? Yes. Would I suggest everybody doing it? No, there's not enough to go around. And I don't mean that in a bad way. This is 4 years old. These have been on the shelves for over 4 years. I mean, it's just hard to come by. Secondary is about the only way, or if you find a dusty somewhere, it's the only way you're going to find it. But if you come across it, and you come across it at a reasonable price, I don't know what these went for new. I'm probably gonna guess probably around $100, plus or minus for the the reposado, the añejo probably up to 120, even in 22, because it's special editions, kind of like a single barrel. So they're a little pricey. But if you were to come across one and staying under $200 and you have money to throw away, no, it's not throwing it away and it's not necessarily the best. But if you really want these under $200, I'd say go. Over that, no. Let's just wait for something else new to come out. I mean, honestly, the new Ocho barrel strengths on the repo and the añejo are really, really good. And I know there's other stuff in the works for, limited editions and stuff like that coming down the line. I mean, I know specifics, but they're constantly bringing something new in. So, the Widoe Jane, it's a little harder to find. This was a series limited edition. There was only so many bottles. I have bottle 576 here on the table. I bought 3. I sold one to my brother-in-law, and I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to keep the other full bottle and then just let's share this one to whoever wants it. And then I'll still have a full one left behind for my personal enjoyment. But I got them for $80 a piece, which is a little high. But as I looked around at regular MSRP for this limited edition bottle, it's not that far off of what maybe it should be. I know there's certain places on the internet. Of course, by the time you pay shipping, they're in the mid to low 60s. And by the time you had shipping to him, I was paying the same amount. I could get this locally and get it right away. And I bought all three for two reasons. One, because I wanted all three. And two, he never had to make shelf space for it. He had lost the invoice and didn't know what to charge for it, so he didn't put it on the shelf. And when I pushed, and thank you, Harry, at Liquor King in Harrisonville for indulging me with these bottles. We've got some other little bottles coming along the way that he and I have talked about. So we got a couple high proofs that are coming through him. He's trying to get me a Volans still strength. And what was the other one? Blood. Anyway, it was another good one. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. Wow. It was another still strength. Don Vicente, I think it was. So anyway, so news. This will be, then I'll close out. Again, bottle share, Thursday, starting at 6:00. I might be a little late, but I will be there. Old Shiny Pizza in Lenexa. Be there, be square. Bring something to share. I am. So can you. Even if it's only one bottle. And if you're coming to learn, come learn. There's 20 or 25% off for anything with tequila in it at the bar. So come, order some. We'll get some pizza. We'll, talk around and we'll sit around and drink stuff. And talk about some new stuff coming up. What else? Mary Carmen has a normally unscheduled Zoom call on the 20th. Let me get my calendar out here. That's the same day. So, on the same day as our bottle share, which I'm probably going to be doing it on my phone, which that ought to be fun. We can get everybody involved. She has a Zoom call with, I'm going to pull it up because I completely have spaced off what I'm doing here. So she's doing exclusive conversation with Felipe Camarena and Sergio Vivanco on a Zoom on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Check out her Facebook and Instagram page, Mary Carmen Ortiz Conway, and you can get a link to the Zoom because these crazy. These things. We had probably about 30 people show up last Thursday. Had a great time with Manuscrito. They threw out a discount code for the merch stuff, and they're supposed to be getting some new merch in. And as soon as they get some hats in, I'm going to be getting a hat. But I did order me some long sleeve hooded t-shirts, or a long sleeve hooded t-shirt. I already have a regular black t-shirt that I got from Jake way back when he did his thing with the Agave Social Club. So that's it for me. And probably be it for me for the week because I've got a busy week. And it seems to be short. So, wow, what else? I think that's it. So, be good to your tequila. It will be good to you. Salute, my friends. Until we meet next time, adios.